Yeah, it's really true. A true star here with us. Too good for the show to think. I used to share a bed with this man on road trips to the Senior Bowl. Now he's an engaged guy. Big summer for you, Zach.
Big summer.
Big summer.
Not only do we share beds, we shared back seats of rental cars as well, Andre. Driving
true.
across borders.
It's true. It's true. No problem at all sharing back seats, sampling the local southern fast food cuisines.
Yes, we did. What a burger. Good.
What a burger.
Yes.
Indeed, yes. Yes, so we've got Zach on, and this is going to be a special one. Kicking it almost old school when we do more stream heavy. And once in a while, we'd start off a new sport, and we'd have a special guest on. Zach is here not so much to give us picks, but to give us his insights on the upcoming NFL season. We're going to mine that beautiful mind of yours to make some money for our people. That's what I like to do. It's the only reason my wife is still with me. Shame on her. Welcome to you all. Successful Monday. Ryan hated the slate. I still gave out 3 picks confidently. The old 2-0-1, a canceled bet, 2 wins. The canceled bet, I got real lucky. All 5 games needed to be played in the MLB. 1 gets postponed because of weather. I took the under for the entire 5 games of 47. Just the 4 games went over 49. So I am really, really lucky. That bet was refunded to me. Had no business doing that, but sometimes you get lucky. 2 more dubs, and we're ready to go back to the well, Zach. So that's what we're going to do.
You're big time in the green.
I gotta. It's actually been a phenomenal summer, you know.
Oh, I mean, 300 to 200 and in a while that you guys are just killing it. That's why, I mean, I'm a little nervous coming on here. I got to live up to that winning standard.
No, not at all. Not at all. We fool around, we joke, and things just happen. Also, I calculated all my estimated wins for all 32 teams in the NFL.
Oh,
so we got to talk about that a little bit.
Let's go.
Compare it to the win totals and get Zach's insights. Nothing better than that. But let's get my big 3 out the way. We still need to bet on something today. So actually, I even see 100% boost, and that's going to be a tricky one to pick. So I'm going double Rockies here. This, Zach, has been a theory of mine all year long. Rockies coming off a phenomenal homestand. Now they're going on the road. Takes a while for those bats to adjust to that different break on the ball when we're on the road.
Yep.
So, first inning, no one scores. That's what a Nerfy is there. We've got John Gray.
Classic Nerfy.
Nerfy, classic. We've got John Gray on the mound for the Rockies. He's extraordinary. And Houston, again, is going to benefit from the slow to pick up the ball spinning at sea level. And then we're going to do that again, take the under in the first 5 innings of that game because I trust the starters, don't trust the bullpen. And then we're going over 5.5 runs, first 5 innings. Tampa Bay, Boston, 2 young pitchers have struggled, been inconsistent. This is another thing I'm going to start doing in the MLB season. Division opponents where we already have a big sample size of head-to-head matchups.
That's smart. I mean, that's better right there.
I got to take the advantages where I can find them, Zach, and that's why we're going over 5.5 first 5 in that one. I think the bats will just be hot.
I mean, you're taking boring for Rockies, and it kind of checks out.
Exactly. We're snoozing it up for the Rockies, and then we're going to have some fun with the overpriced AL East, all the fun with that. All right, we got that out the way, and I'm using the 100% profit boost on that middle bet there. I think that's the safest of the bunch. The under 5 in the first 5 innings for Rockies. Astros, just relying on 1 inning can be a little tricky. A larger sample size, 5 innings, I think we'll be all right. That's where I'll place the 100% profit boost. DraftKings Sportsbook, find that in the MLB section. Great stuff. Look, already getting the love from the listeners.
You know where I'm placing my bet tonight, Dre?
Lay it on me.
You to go 2-0-1. Yep.
I would take that again.
There's a push in there we can get.
I would take that again. I guess the
profit boost.
For the 1, we would need the Rays-Red Sox game to be canceled.
Yeah.
The Rockies, I can't get just 1 win out of that game and a tie. Well, no, we could get a push on that 5.
Yep.
On that 5 because there's not a half. Yep. There you go. What
Two
a
all in
genius
one.
mind. Let's get into that genius mind and start by talking about this QB competition. Again, the good people at DraftKings Sportsbook allow us to bet on that. And I thought the odds were kind of interesting, as Ryan mentioned yesterday. Teddy's winning the QB competition on our site?
Yep.
On our site?
He is.
So, kind of, do you find it interesting that Lock the slight favorite here?
From where we are after watching 11 practices, I am. But from a national perspective, what's a more appealing name? Even if you don't like Drew Lock, Drew Lock's the more appealing name. He's the more interesting name. He's the younger name. So from a national perspective, I'm not surprised by this. What jumps out at me is I saw this yesterday on the site, Dre, and I thought, are these odds from a month ago? Because why is there any other quarterback there? And why is it plus 350? That's significantly different than plus 120. But at this point, with Aaron off the table, why is it plus 350? And what do they know about Deshaun Watson? 'Cause it can't be Brett Rippon. I know enough about Brett Rippon, and it's not him. I was surprised by that number.
It really, I mean, you're right. That's what should have your antennas up more than anything.
Yeah, because I'm thinking
Should be plus 1,000, plus 10,000.
exactly. Because I'm thinking it's going to be one of those two guys. So then my head goes, well, what if you place huge bets on Drew and Teddy, and then you win a little bit if Teddy wins the job? It's a push if Drew wins the job.
Yeah, that's what Ryan was talking about. A bit of a hedge on both sides. Okay, you are in Colorado, Connor. Go to MLB. You'll see there's the free $10 bet up here, and then scroll that, and you'll see the free or the 100% profit boost. Get back to us on Connor. Yeah, that seems. And my other thing is, I would lean heavily towards Teddy. Just because of how this team is structured. This is a Vic Fangio football team that has invested a ton of resources on the defense, 2 top 10 picks, tons of free agent money, as recently as last offseason. They don't need the young gunslinger. They need that, like Alex Smith with Harbaugh and Vic Fangio as the defensive coordinator. That, to me, is kind of their ideal situation in lieu of an Aaron Rodgers or someone like that.
I love talking Broncos with you, Dre, for many reasons, but especially how you just say Fangio.
Thank you.
But no, you're 100% right. That's why if this thing is close, some people say that the nod's going to go to Drew. I think it's the opposite because you look at Vic and George Payton brought Teddy in, so I think he's leaning Teddy. But we know that Vic's going to be the one making the decision, and if it's close, he's going to look and say, well, I did this with Drew last year. He didn't turn out to be the safe option for me. He lost me games, and I want to win with defense. And I know that Teddy, he's been around longer, and whether it's right or not, because you can look, and Teddy wasn't mistake-free last year, but he's going to view him as the safer option. And we did find out today, and we're going to get in this later as well, that Drew Lock is starting this week. What I'll say is I don't think that means too much in this competition.
I
should say Drew Lock is starting the first preseason game.
Yeah. I mean, maybe an interesting nod
I think there's
towards
some wrinkles
Drew,
in there.
But, we can really get into that. We're doing, me and the homie, back-to-back shows. So, yeah, tune into that. Stay on the YouTube channel. Interesting. A lot to still be unwritten, but plus 120, Teddy. Teddy Two Gloves has me.
That's what I like.
Intrigued. Yeah. I mean, when I was on the show with Mesa a couple weeks ago, same thing.
Yep.
He asked me, who do you think? And when guys' jobs are on the line, they're gonna lean towards the veteran.
Yep, exactly. I completely agree. I would have expected this to be Teddy minus 150. So I think there's good value there.
Ooh, okay.
Yep.
That I love. That's some great insights. QB scoreboard on our site. Become a member if you're not, because that's like the best of the best. Zach now, RK yesterday. Everyone leaning Teddy.
Yeah, I mean, if RK's leaning Teddy, then you know it's good value.
That's right. And then there's that hedge opportunity because everything's in the plus right now. I guess the other thing is they're thinking maybe there's some, I don't know, we saw it with Kendall Hinton, like never say never.
Oh, gosh.
But geez, for that to happen week 1.
Whew, that would be something. I mean, I want to know who they're thinking, because all I can think is Deshaun Watson. I mean, who else would it be? And Deshaun Watson, some news today, not going to play this weekend. He was at practice yesterday. Just what a situation there. And I'd be shocked. In fact, the Broncos are not going to trade for him when all of this stuff is still looming.
John McClain tweeted out yesterday, very officially almost, that Deshaun Watson will never play another snap for the Texans.
So when will that happen? When will a trade happen? It's not going to be the Broncos with all of this hanging over.
Yeah. Yeah, no, right. You got to get that. And week 1, it's around the corner.
It is. It's
not June anymore. Yeah, thanks. Happy about that for sure. All that, and all the great lines we always talk about, all at DraftKings Sportsbook, the number one sportsbook in all the land. Now just piling on the competitors, the same game parlays, all the odds boosts and offers you can get. We've made a killing, all the special events this summer. And right now, new users can use promo code DNVR to receive $200 in free bets when you place a $1 bet on any college football and NFL game, I believe. Here it says just college football. If I read it correctly, though, you can go either way, and we're going to get into a lot of those. I'm a big Clemson to win the natty guy on the college football side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's promo code
Tide.
DNVR. I know we got to see the quarterback, though.
It's very true.
Also, for Broncos fans, that's an interesting one.
It is.
Yes. DJ Young, maybe not so much 2022, but we've got 2023 circled. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, those
and now
quarterbacks.
We know Broncos love Alabama players.
That's right. They're all in all of a sudden. You can even bet on the 2022 NFL draft right now at DraftKings Sportsbook. There are no bounds to what you can do there. And again, new users, use that code DNVR. Get yourself free $200 when you bet one instantly for a limited time only at DraftKings. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. Looks like the chat's popping. You brought the people. You brought the people, Zach. That's what happens. You just got the big names. So we're gonna keep excavating your brain for more NFL knowledge.
We're digging in, huh?
We sure are. Let's go on this prop for best defense. My man knows defense. The defense to concede the fewest points this season. If you were to guess, of these, what I put down, 7 stalwart defenses, who has the shortest odds, thus is the favorite to lead the league in this category next season? I believe LA by far. Now, that's the LA Rams, by far the leader a season ago.
So, you know the answer to this?
Yeah, unfortunately, I had to look at the line.
And you're testing me.
I'm not. No,
that's what we're doing.
I don't want to know if you can get this right. I want to know, according to your football expertise, where should I put my money? Because they're all plus 500 or longer.
Right.
All the bets we have here are lines that are pretty closely grouped.
Right. Yeah. Okay, oh, man, I don't like New England. Take New England out of there.
Right, because aside from, they're getting their guys back.
Yep.
Last year was trash.
You know who I do like? I like the Broncos to be up there. Not to be number one,
right,
but a reason for that is the Broncos are going to run the ball. We talk quarterbacks all the time. They're going to run the ball, so they're going to try to take time off the clock, which means that there's just not going to be as much gameplay, and we know the Broncos defense is going to be very good this year, so I like them, and my guess, Dre, is the value on them is pretty good compared to those other teams, just because Broncos aren't getting much respect right now around the country, so take advantage of that. You can't take advantage of drafting Broncos players when you're in a fantasy football league with a bunch of Broncos fans because they all go off the board. But this is an area where you could take advantage. So I like the Broncos there. The Rams, LA, they're going to get a lot of hype. So Washington, The football team.
Football team, baby.
That's a good defense there.
A lot of people high on them.
That's a really good defense, and a reason why I don't like the Broncos as the favorites. Got to go up against Justin Herbert twice.
Yeah.
You got to go up against Patrick Mahomes twice. Which, if you hold him to 30 points, if you hold him to 28 points, you should count that as a success. But that's gonna hurt the average there. Oh man! And the opposite of the Washington football team, Dre, is they're going up against some garbage teams.
I know.
I mean,
that's
the Eagles,
really true.
they may give up 3 points to them in both games combined. So give me the Washington football team.
That is great. And you get that at plus 1,100. They are the second shortest odds. Did you ever cover the team when Wink Martindale was the DC? No, that was a few years before.
Right.
He's done such a great job in Baltimore, but I am surprised Baltimore to be the favorite in this country, in this category.
Yeah, that. I mean, they're a great team.
Well, but your reasoning on the divisions especially is what, those are some potent-ish offenses in Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati on paper has some talent.
The worst offense with Cincinnati has a chance to be pretty darn good.
Right, still Burrow, Mixon, all those wide receivers. I wouldn't want to mess with them if they're healthy and clicking.
Right.
Yeah, and you're right. And so I'm surprised to see Washington at plus 1,100 and the Broncos at plus 1,400 right there with the Rams.
Value. I like that value.
Right there with the Rams.
Yep.
And see, but I agree with you. This is why we're doing this, not to see if you're right, but Washington I really think is the best value here. So that's perfect.
Just to answer some questions we got in from the chat,
yes.
They were wondering who has the easiest schedule of the ones we talked about. Of these 7, the Broncos, based on last year, have the easiest schedule by a long shot. Next would be the Broncos have the 27th easiest schedule. I should say no, the 27th hardest schedule.
So and the 5th easiest.
Right.
Yeah, so the 5th easiest schedule.
Did you see who else is in there? Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay's schedule is pretty easy, as is the
Tom just always gets lucky.
As is Washington's. So Washington's is about middle of the pack. So of those 3, if you're going on schedule.
How's Tampa Bay get? I mean, the NFC South was just 25% of the bottom 5 easiest schedules were all NFC South. But, well, look out for Tampa.
Jeez, I mean, they've got to be up there, right? I mean, they kept everyone, plus you have Tom Brady, so he's not going to ruin it for them on the offensive side. And then you get to go up against the best team they face is Matt Ryan. And then they Jameis Winston. If it's Taysom Hill, I mean, that is so easy for them. And then you have the worst quarterback in the league last year with Darnold.
Although, fair warning, Tampa Bay's defense last year was heavily reliant on turnovers, and that tends to heavily regress the next year.
Good point.
Interesting. They are plus 1,600, so more great value to be had on that one. Let's go to our next one, Kale. Who do you, Zach? Who would you, if you were the odds maker, have as the favorite to lead the league in receiving yards?
Oh, man. Okay, and we got Calvin Ridley, Stephon Diggs, Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams, Travis Kelce, DeAndre Hopkins, and DK Metcalf. So this is me.
Yeah.
Who would I have as the favorite? Well, it wouldn't be Travis Kelce. Take him out. It would not be Calvin Ridley. Take him out. It would not be Stephon Diggs. Take him out. That's interesting to have 2 Minnesota guys right there. And because of that, I'm taking Justin Jefferson out.
Stephon Diggs does not play in Minnesota.
Yeah.
You're right. He plays in Buffalo. Still, take him out. He was a Minnesota guy. And now it comes down to it's Devontae Adams.
I love Devontae Adams on this.
And is there decent value?
Plus 900. Plus 900.
You know who's going to be playing with their hair on fire this year?
This is what I was saying yesterday.
It's Aaron Rodgers.
And Adams, right?
Yeah.
Contract year for both.
Yep.
And they're dialed into this last dance thing.
They're flipping the birds to the Packers on their way out. They don't want to go out slow.
And there's no one else, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's why Aaron's so pissed, is they haven't drafted any other wide receivers.
Yep.
I don't even know how this is plus 900. The favorite is Calvin Ridley at plus 750.
Wow.
Like, what?
I mean, they're doing what the Broncos did with Joe Flacco. They're saying Matt Ryan's in his prime right now. And
Well, I guess that's true. And then no Julio, you figure, like.
Right. But they did get rid of Julio, but they did bring in an offensive weapon with the 4th overall pick. So you have to imagine that they're going to get him the ball, too. Like, I think Calvin's going to have a fantastic season. He's a great player, but him
to lead the
paired
league,
up
and, right?
with Matt Ryan on a Falcons team that had the 4th overall pick. Yeah, I would go with the Aaron Rodgers route.
What's funny is a year ago, Michael Thomas was the stone cold lock for this. And now no more Drew Brees. You got to scroll a minute.
No
to
more
get to
Drew
that.
Brees.
Yeah.
He's tweeting things. He's having surgery late.
Yeah. Right. It's a complex offseason in many ways.
Yes.
I bet you we're in agreement on who should have the shortest odds to lead the league in sacks as well here, Zach. Now that we're in agreement on Devontae Adams, you've got Myles Garrett, Aaron Donald. Can't go wrong with those guys, obviously. Shaq Barrett, Chase Young, and TJ Watt. I believe TJ Watt was the leader a year ago.
Oh, man. Okay. Now Myles Garrett has a overrated Jadeveon Clowney next to him, but that's someone that's going to help him. Shaq Barrett took a step back last year, so I'm not touching that. That's still a great player.
Yeah.
Aaron Donald, I mean, how can you, I'm
Oldie
never
but
going to
goodie,
bet
right.
against him, but that's hard to say a defensive tackle. Give me Chase Young. You know?
I knew it.
Is value
We're
good?
in this plus 1,800.
18.
Phenomenal value.
I was going to like it at plus 800.
I don't get this. Guys like Zadarius Smith, Daniel Hunter, Shaq Barrett, who you just mentioned, you know, not always the most consistent last year. Josh Allen, Joey Bosa, who's always injured. Chandler Jones, kind of same thing. Von Miller. I worship Von Miller. Maybe my favorite Broncos player of all time.
Yep.
But to have shorter odds to lead the league in sacks than Chase Young is saying something.
All of those guys you just mentioned have better odds than Chase Young?
Nick Bosa, Khalil Mack, Jason Pierre-Paul?
No way.
What?
Wow. I didn't realize how much love Tampa Bay was getting as like a team.
Right. But
Wow.
I don't like we agreed that Washington's probably where we'd put our money on the defense that allows the fewest points. They were second behind Baltimore.
Right.
I don't get why Chase Young is like 12 spots down.
Isn't he their best player?
By a mile.
And he was I just don't understand how he's getting.
No, he walked onto an NFL field, no training camp, no preseason, was just like, oh, yeah, I'm a double-digit sack artist. No problem.
Second overall pick, playing on the East Coast. This sounds like we're talking about a Bronco here not getting the respect.
It's crazy.
Wow,
So,
I love
again,
that.
plus 1,800.
Yeah.
Hammer away.
Yes.
Hammer away. See, what a great exercise. What a great exercise.
This is fantastic. I love it.
Shortest odds for most interceptions. This is a fun one. And this is one where we got to put our thinking caps on a little more, because it's not just who's going to throw the most picks. It's also who's going to have longer leash and be on the field most often, you know? So let's go to our options for most interceptions.
That's a good point. Got to be
and
thinking.
it's,
I was going to say rookies have to be on here. So we got Darnold, Fitzmagic, Winston, Goff, Zach Wilson, Daniel Jones, Fields, Hurts, and Trevor Lawrence. Take Trevor Lawrence off there.
There you go.
He's not going to be leading it.
How disrespectful is it that Goff is on here?
Yeah, seriously.
Reading him out loud, it was really like, wow.
Everyone else is
like just
I guess
unproven.
Fitzmagic. Yeah, outside of him. Wow, that is disrespectful.
So disrespectful.
It's not going to be Jared Goff either. I don't
In
think they're going to
Detroit,
be. Yeah. I mean, his kneecaps will be taken off before he leads the league in interceptions. Okay. So who's going to stay on? It's not going to be Hurts because they have Mr. Mighty Joe Flacco there to replace him.
Well, and murmurs of Watson stuff in Philly, you know. So if there was a team to kind of get that tidied up sooner rather than later, I'd assume it's the Eagles. Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to go Zach Wilson here. And the reason is no one behind him. And Justin Fields,
terrifying.
They should not take him off the field once he gets on. And by the way, he should be on the field week 1 for the Bears. But they I mean, they're trying to save their jobs out there, the GM and the head coach. So if things get ugly with Justin, they could put him in, or they could put Andy Dalton in. Zach Wilson, there's no one. I mean, they were signing guys that right now their backups haven't played a single snap in the NFL combined. So they're not pulling Zach Wilson. This is a new regime. They're not pulling him. And it's not that he's not going to be a good player. Peyton Manning came in, led the league in interceptions. It turned out to be Peyton Manning. So I'm not hating on Zach Wilson, but it's also a bad team out there in New York. What are his odds?
I think it's a first-time play caller. It's Darnold Fitzmagic tie at the top at plus 750. Then it's Goff at plus 800.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
Insane.
Wow.
And then it's Wilson at plus 900.
I like that.
So pretty nice value. And, not so much East Coast bias on some of these. Huh?
Yes.
How are we not talking about Jameis Winston, who has led the league in interceptions multiple times and is about to have the worst wide receiver core in the NFL by far?
Plus 1,800, he's intriguing, but how short is that leash?
Well, his eyes are good now, too, though. That you can't
You've seen
forget
him
that.
juggling?
You can see the defenders now.
I mean,
That's a good point, though, Kale.
kind of is key. Like, I swear he was just, like, nearsighted. He couldn't see the underneath defender.
Yeah, he would see if someone was out there, just not see what color the jersey is, throw it, hope it was a touchdown. And it worked out half the time.
Totally, man. Which honestly, like at that level, if you're guessing that's great. And this is our fine one. Less guessing, we're just ranking. So I put together my estimated win totals for the NFL. And they match up very similarly to the win totals you can bet on at DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now, they have all 32 teams up. The biggest differentials I was finding in my numbers versus DraftKings are these. The biggest regression candidates are the Cleveland Browns, who are coming off a double-digit win season. 11 wins, but my numbers say the way they performed a year ago was only at the rate of an 8-win team.
That's big.
And thus their number set at 10.5. They're a big regression candidate.
Okay.
Kansas City, similar thing. They won 13 a year ago. Should have only really, performed at the level of a 10.5 win team. The number set at 12.5.
They did something last year. Didn't they win 7 straight games by like 7 points or less? It was the first time in a long time, or maybe ever, that happened. So I mean, that points to your numbers. Exactly.
The Chargers, a team here, won 7 games. Per my numbers, performed exactly at the pace of a 7-win team. Their number set at 9.5.
Yep.
Minnesota, just to close out these regression candidates, they win 7. Were graded out as a 7-win team. Their number's at 9.
Yeah.
New England, this is a fishy one because of additions, but it's, again, the 7-7, 9.5 for them.
Yep, that's the East Coast bias they're getting.
Absolutely. Well, and it's the returns on defense.
That's true.
You're putting a lot of faith in Mac Jones or Cam Newton.
Yes, you are.
And then San Francisco, they win 6, obviously all the injuries. We're a 7.5 win team per my numbers. The number set at 10.5 this year. And I know you've been a big guy on, like, let's not remember Kyle Shanahan has one more winning seasons than Vance Joseph and Vic Fangio combined.
Yes, exactly. I like that, where you're going with San Francisco.
So you think of all of those, the most accurate regression candidate is the Niners.
Minnesota as well. They're kind of just treading water.
How
right?
can you like Minnesota?
Where are they going right now? They just lost George Payton too. They just lost Mike Boone. What are they going to do without the Boonster?
Well, and Zimmer's on a short leash. They have had to revamp that defense top to bottom. So they're kind of crap on defense. And do they have enough star power on offense? Putting a lot of eggs in the Kirk Cousins basket.
And then Cleveland, it seems like they take a step, they take a step up, take a step back, take a step up, take a step back. Are they to that point where they have to take another step down after last year, take a step back? Or I wouldn't bet against, and another one, I'm not going to bet against Mahomes, especially coming off last year being embarrassed in the Super Bowl. But I really like San Francisco And because Kyle Shanahan, I think forever, he's just going to get the benefit of the doubt there. And
You're
so
100%
just
right,
go
man.
under.
Yeah.
And I like that, and I also like Minnesota.
There you go. Love that. And the one that scares you off the most is the Chiefs. I like that. Now, remember when we were comparing our numbers to Vegas, one area where the numbers were falling short quite a bit last year was in accounting for elite quarterback play. Elite quarterback play makes up those margins. So
Right.
Chiefs, Packers were two teams that were consistently kind of
Right.
overperforming what the numbers were doing. Seattle, first half of the season, murdering the numbers because Russell was just so good.
And that's why what's going to happen with the Chargers. That's why I wouldn't touch them either way. I'm not saying they're not going to be good. They're going to be good, but is Justin Herbert going to be elite this year? What he did last year was enough to say he is, but there's also, he could easily hit a rookie slump.
100%.
Or a sophomore slump.
100%. The progression candidates may be more interesting because it's teams like Pittsburgh, New Orleans, and Houston.
And so
Now,
you're saying they should be better than what Vegas is saying.
that's right. So let's look at Pittsburgh here, a team that won 12 games, performed as only a 10.5 win team. No surprises there. We saw how they fell apart at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Their number, though, Zach, set at 8.5.
Pittsburgh. Wow. 500 team is what
Right.
Vegas is saying.
And as we process all these numbers, please remember 17-game season.
Yes. You get the boost. Man,
You get the boost. So all those regression candidates, maybe okay. They make a
Right.
little more sense. Progression, less so.
they were the most overrated 11-0 team in NFL history last year, right?
By a mile, yeah.
But they still found a way to get 11, and there was drama with Ben.
Right.
There's drama. I think things are settling down there.
And there's continuity on the defense.
Yeah.
And some real star power. And, like, come on, Ben can kind of figure that out,
to
right?
9-8, I like
Or
that.
Mason Rudolph and, I don't know, Haskins.
Oh, you lost me.
Duck
you
Hodges?
You lost me there.
Duck Hodges, anyone?
Paxton Lynch.
Dre, you're so off. Their offensive line, they are not returning 3 of their 5 offensive linemen. There's serious regression in the other 2 that you can expect. Their defense is significantly bad. Can you name one starting corner on the Pittsburgh Steelers right now that's halfway decent?
But they've zoned up corners for 2 decades and been one of the best defenses in like two of 2 generations.
With a star pass rusher who they just lost buzzed with. They
but
just lost
TJ
Bud
Watt,
Dupree.
Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah,
the
you've
front
got
3
one
still
guy.
potent.
This is getting hot in here.
I
think
the Steelers are going to be hot garbage next year.
Oh, wow. So you would take them going under 500.
Under 8.5?
Ben finishes his career under 500.
I think they win less than 7 games next year.
Wow.
In 17 weeks.
Yep.
Then we have New Orleans, who, of course, lose Drew Brees. Last year performed as an 11-win team. It's set at 9. We saw how easy the NFC South schedules are, but
True.
do you believe in Winston or anyone? The game here is, do we believe Brees was actually just an average-level quarterback, and Winston's plausibly a small upgrade?
I believe in Winston. I believe in Jameis. I
There
do.
you go.
No, their downfall is going to be if Sean Payton just gets, googly eyes over Taysom Hill and makes poor decisions. Jameis is not going to make as many poor decisions as he made 2 years ago, throwing 30 interceptions.
Well, and if there's anyone who can fix Jameis, come
Yeah.
on. Like, I believe in Sean. There are some coaches I just believe in more in their ability to fix quarterbacks, and Sean Payton is the very tippy top of
Well,
that
and
list.
another thing with that is, remember at the beginning of the offseason, the Saints pretty much had to trade their franchise to stay under the salary cap. They ended up not really having to get rid of anyone. I mean, they kept everyone except all the drama with Michael Thomas.
I mean, they lost Emmanuel Sanders and Jared Cook and half their defense. But,
all
sure,
Alvin
you're right. They
Kamara.
lost nobody.
It's all Alvin Kamara.
In terms
Basically
of
5
stars.
Pro Bowlers on the offensive line, too.
Yep.
So you can't criticize the Steelers O-line and not talk up the Saints. I won't allow it.
All right, here is Super Chat coming in from Zach for you, Dre.
Aw. Wow.
Ooh, Zach.
Thank you,
Mr.
thank you.
Castro.
For a little white whale hunting. We'll have to figure that out. It's a thick slate on the MLB, so I think I could put that together. Finally, Houston as a progression candidate. They win 4 games last year. They played as a 6-win team, my numbers say. The number's set at 4. Deshaun Watson played all those games.
Yep. And so you like them to win more?
Now, My numbers. This is merely math at work, Zach.
You're blaming the
merely
numbers
math
now.
at work.
That's fair.
This is probably the stay away of the bunch.
Yes, I was going to say I'm not touching this. Now, if Deshaun Watson plays, it's easy over, but I don't really know if anyone thinks that he is going to play for them again.
Right.
And then, however, though, Tyrod Taylor,
Right, Tyrod.
he's Mr. 500, right? He can get you around there, but
I have
the
such a hard
Houston
time taking them
Texans,
seriously.
I'm
yeah.
not touching the Texans.
Extraordinary stuff. Thank you, Zach. This was a true
blast
pleasure.
today.
Stay tuned to YouTube. Get on
Yes.
the Twitter because we're going live in just a second. DNVR Broncos. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow with the big guy or some other great guests. So stay tuned. Best of luck.